Hello, everybody. Hello, friends. How's everybody doing? Um, as I've said, it's been a rough week for me. We'll get into that in just a minute. But how are all you doing? I'm glad to see y'all are here already. I mean, it's super late for me. I mean, super late for me to get started, but I'm glad y'all are here. So, um, so last weekend, I'm just gonna say this is a friend of mine. A friend of mine who I'm very close with. Um, Basically had just a very bad weekend. Um, they're fine. They're still here. But me and this person's brother was very worried about them, and was kind of talking with their brother, and basically some stuff happened like a year or two ago, and just everything this person has been through within the last year and a half, 2 years, has just kind of been piled on. And like what this person's been going through has been a lot for anybody. But also this person has mental health issues as well. So you add that, on top of everything that has been happening, and they haven't like really properly dealt with it. Like I've been asking this person to go see a therapist for a long time, and they've been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. Um, but they just had a really bad weekend, and we ended up telling them to call the suicide crisis hotline, which is the number that is behind me right now. Um, and it was getting to me to the point, like it was bothering me enough to where like I had to talk to someone about it. Um, and I am very, very lucky that I have an excellent support system. I have family and friends who I can always talk to, and I know I can always talk to them. And lately, people I work with, I have been getting very close with. One of them specifically is my manager. He is a fantastic person. He's he's become more than just a manager to me. He's really become like a mentor and a friend, and um so kind of after work on Monday, I was talking to him and just kind of getting stuff off my chest, and there's also some other stuff specifically that he could help me with that in a way that other people couldn't. Um but as I was having this chat with him, he got a text message from his wife saying, "I need to go to the doctor today." And it was kind of he had been saying like, "I'm glad she wants to finally go to the doctor," because he was saying like she hadn't been feeling well for a couple days, and his family had been telling her, you need to go see a doctor, you need to go see a doctor. Um but we didn't really think anything of it, and then um the next day he didn't come into work. Um and then the day after that, we found out his wife had actually passed away. So he's not going to be at work for a couple of weeks, and um, I'm actually part of the reason I was late tonight is because I stayed up a little later yesterday, so I could stay up a little later tomorrow. I'm kind of just trying to shift my sleep schedule so I can go to her services on Monday morning. But anyway, all of this is to say that it's been rough. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough year for everybody. I know it's been hard with the pandemic, and with racial tensions and with politics, and it's exhausting. Okay, it is exhausting. Like nobody's going to deny that. It's been a year. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling down, talk to someone. You know, if you don't, if you feel like you don't have anybody to talk to, like, talk to me. Like, you know, DM me on Discord or Twitter, whatever. Like, if you don't have anybody else to talk to, I will listen. I can't promise I'll have good advice to give or anything, but like, I will listen. I will really listen. I promise you that. I will respond to anybody who message me. Um, yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I don't know how else to put it, but like I said, I'm very lucky that I have a great support system, but not everybody has that. So if you need someone to talk to, if you need me to be your support system, I will do that. But I can't handle everything. I'm not a trained psychologist, or I don't have any kind of training in this. So if you feel like I can't help you enough just by listening, that's what this is for. 116 123. So with that, does anybody have anything that they want to talk about? I know this. I don't. This is a very public forum. If you don't want to talk about things publicly, obviously that makes a lot of sense. Um, but before we get into the game, is there anything anybody feels that they need to say, even if it's just a broad, general kind of thing, like, you know, I mean, I don't know, anything. Again, if you want to talk to me personally, I promise I will respond. But the best way to get to me is like DM me through Twitter or my Discord. It's been a rough past 2 weeks. I'm happy you're streaming. Well, thank you. I'm happy I'm streaming too. And like last weekend, my stream was kind of half-assed, and it's just because I was dealing with the stuff I was going through last week. And you know, and even though it's not directly my things, you know, it's like my friend is going through things, and my manager's going through things. Like, I still feel that through them, even though it's not about me. You know, it's okay. It's okay to not feel okay. You know, it's okay to not be okay. But try. And it's hard to do. I know it's not easy to talk about things a lot of times, but that's a lot of times, even just talking about it and getting that off your shoulders will help a lot. Oh, really? Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear that. You know, taking that first step, and is sometimes the hardest thing. Saying I need help and going and seeking that help. Typically bury my feelings because I don't feel important enough to demand anyone's attention. I do the same, yeah, and that's that's like my friend's thing is I'm glad he was reaching out, and he was saying, I feel overwhelmed, and I just want to feel numb. And then he'd always say, I'm sorry to bother you with this. I'm sorry for being a burden. I know I don't want to bother you, but it's like, listen, I would much rather listen to you and hear what you're going through than you do something and I won't be able to ever hear about it, you know? Been pretty low since May of last year. Yeah. And yeah, I feel like that can definitely be a hard thing. Here, let me um if like you grew up in an environment where it wasn't a common thing to, here, let me just do this actually. So you can, you don't need to see my big old face. More important, you see what's going on around me. Here we go. There we go. Now you can fully see the number and what's going on in chat. But yeah, if you grew up in an environment where you're not used to talking about your feelings or about what's going on, that's that. I mean, that's something I have a difficult time with. Like my parents they're great. Like I love my parents. I don't want to say anything bad about my parents. They're fantastic people, but they're more specifically my dad. He's never been an very open person. A lot of times, it he and and it's kind of his the way he was raised. You just kind of grabbed yourself, pulled yourself up by your bootstraps, and you just kept going, and you don't you man up and you do what needs to be done, and it's like sometimes you need to talk, and it's that, and it kind of is a skill, you know to verbalize how you're feeling, and that is something I struggle with a lot, is verbalizing how I'm feeling, because it's not a natural thing for me, and it's not something we were super. I mean, I'm struggling right now to say what I'm trying to say. I mean, if you want to send cookies, I will take cookies. I'm saying that. No, I'm kidding. Wow. I'm glad you enjoyed the vlogs last week. 'Cause like I said, it was kind of a half-assed last minute thing. Yeah, I remember feeling that way, especially right around the end of college. Sorry, I'm like trying to read back through chat, and I mean, there is a lot of anxiety that goes into joining the real world, and I mean, I still struggle with it. Being in the real world, it's not easy. It's you know finally taking responsibility for yourself, and like with the way the economy is, it's incredibly hard. I think it's harder for us. It's certainly harder for us than it was for our parents to work and have, you know, a fulfilling life and a fulfilling job that you are happy with your work, but also are able to make enough where you have a comfortable life, where you have a home, and, you know, like I could not imagine. There's no way with how I'm doing right now that I'd be able to have a kid. And like, if you had asked me 10 years ago, like where I'd be at 30, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd have a house and a kid, and be married. But like, there's no way I'd be able to do that right now. I could not afford a kid, you know, and, but yeah, I mean, but going into the real world, it's, the real world. We live in the real world. And that's something I wish I'd been told more, is you are in the real world, you know, from the day you're born, get ready for it. Okay. Um, I was constantly told that my feelings didn't matter, and telling anybody anything is hard for me. Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My dad is like that. He's a closed book a lot of the time. I always wanted to send someone cookies through the mail. I think it's such a good idea. I can I can give you, so like for Christmas, um Faith sent me a letter. Um I can give you, but she sent it to my brother's PO box. I can give you my brother's PO box if you if you really want to send me cookies. Yeah, that's true. You don't have to have your entire life figured out before you're 30. I mean, I feel like my parents don't have their life figured out and they're in their 60s. I feel like they're at a comfortable place, but I mean, do you ever really figure out life? It's not that my parents are questioning if I went to the right major in the first place. Yeah, yeah. Been trying to get a therapist, but I can't do it without my parents knowing. If they found out, they'd freak out. That's that's really that's I'm sorry about that. Nobody should ever feel bad about wanting to improve themselves, whether it be physically, mentally, spiritually. There should never be any kind of stigma around wanting to better yourself. You know, I'm very sorry to hear that. I hope you're in Denmark, right? Like, I'm sure they have amazing, probably free mental health services in Denmark. Yeah. In the real world for 4 years, being done with grad school, and I'm getting used to it. I still think of it as summer break. Yeah, that's man. I would love to have the summer break, but that's just not reality. No man, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't even know how to write my own taxes. Yeah, I mean, I don't really either. Like, there's programs out there to help you with that. I would not recommend going to like a tax place and paying them to do it because they're a bunch of that's a bunch of BS. But yeah, there's programs. Just do like TurboTax or something when it comes to taxes. I don't know. That's what I do. If you make under a certain amount, a lot of times they're free anyways. Or like I know there's a government website where you can go and do it for free. I forget what it is. I was the same way. I thought my life would be a lot different by 30. Trying to not put so much pressure on myself to be at a certain spot. It's okay. Yeah. And personally, specifically for me, I feel like I am finally reaching that place though. Like the job I've got right now has been very helpful for me for many reasons. Like I said, I've made some very close friends through it. My manager's awesome, but like financially, it's been the most stable job I've ever had. And I mean, as much as you can enjoy going into work, I enjoy going into work. Um, it sucks being outside when it's 0 degrees, but like, that's the job. And the honestly, the people worth are make it worth going in. I do have to call my parents about the things I talk about. No, that's oh shit. Hmm. I don't know like the rules of that. I know there's doctor patient confidentiality, but I don't know if that like fully applies to like if you're a minor, if you're under 18. Yeah. Parents thought I was being ungrateful for the life I was given because it's illegal. Man, yeah. I'm sorry, Melon. That's uh, man. I don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't know the specific rules, but I feel like they shouldn't do that. If a child or young person under 18 refuses consent, you should nevertheless disclose the information if it is necessary to protect the child. No, so maybe I don't know what I mean, I guess I have heard that if it's to protect, where am I? If it's to like, yeah, protect the child. Not to say, 16's a child, it's a young adult, but yeah, I mean, yeah, is there anybody else you can talk to other than a therapist? Yeah, yeah. Probably talk to one of my aunts, but I don't know how they'd respond. Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, if there's anything privately you want to talk about, I will listen. So I can offer you that. That's, that I can at least give you that. I don't know your parents, so I won't tell them anything. I promise. Even if I did, I wouldn't, because you know I'm promising you right now, I won't tell anybody anything, and that goes for all of you. If anybody wants to talk about anything, it's between you and me. Yeah, and I don't know what the. Let me see if I can find like. I need to do something better with this. You can go there for now. Because I'm sure that number, let me see, is, I don't know if it's only for, it's probably, I mean, just for the US. Here we go. That's the number for Denmark. So, did that actually show up? No, it didn't show up. Okay, here we go. There we go. I don't know why it just said it didn't send it through. But anyways, there it is. So, yeah, everybody everybody's got good days and bad days and worse days, you know. Then unfortunately, lately there's been a lot more of the bad days than the worst days. So I feel like there is maybe a little bit of solace. I know it doesn't really help knowing that everybody's going having a rough time, but at the same time, it is nice to know that it's not just you. You know? Yeah, that's good advice. That's good advice, Sam. You can. I mean, I have heard that. I forget where I heard this, but it was something recently where if if enough trauma, if like your parents and grandparents have enough trauma, like there is kind of a trauma gene that is kind of passed down. So it is harder, and I don't think anybody would argue this. It is harder for certain people to cope with life in general, you know. Um, and unfortunately, some people do have to work harder at it to be happy. Um, say I again, I feel like I'm very lucky, not only because of my support system. I just feel like I'm a very resilient person. But you know that I don't know what I'm trying to say here. You know, mental health is it's a tricky thing. It's not like you know someone tells you they've got diabetes and you say, okay, well here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna go on insulin. You're gonna cut down on your sugar. You know, it's with mental health. It's never simple ever. Yeah, hopefully the pandemic will be over soon. Because a lot of times with mental health, especially, it's like sometimes the source of stress can also be a necessity of life, and almost like a lot of for a lot of people, parents can be a cause of stress, but also you rely on your parents, especially when you're younger, to feed you and clothe you and take care of you. You know, um, so you can't just like cut out your parents. Not like you can just cut out sugar when you're diabetic. It's a very it's much more tricky, but it's not impossible. You know, you can learn things. You can learn ways of coping with that and ways of having a relationship, for example, like with your parents, where you can still have a healthy relationship with them sometimes, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I get that. I get that. So yeah, I loved having my guinea pig. I miss her. Even though she would annoy me in the morning, you know, she would she'd be the reason to get up in the morning because if I didn't take care of her, she couldn't take care of herself. Yeah. And generally being a teenager is harder, I think. So, and like AJ said, I know it's hard to just say, hard to just hear, you know, just stick it out, just keep working at it. But that is kind of the solution. Like it does get easier when you get older, I think, for a lot of people. So, you know, find I think finding an escape can help. That's not like a complete solution, you know, but like for me, video games are are a form of what's the word for like mental like just a mental vacation, but kind of therapy almost, you know. Even if it's just for a couple hours, you know, just kind of you know, if I'm in a bad mood and I play some games just to kind of forget about things for a while. A brain break, yeah, yeah, that's a good way of thinking about it. But sometimes, you know, after a couple hours, I'll after I'm kind of done playing video games, I'll come back and I'll think about it more, and it'll kind of be like, you know, well, maybe it's not such a big deal, or you know, maybe I can. especially because I love strategy video games, and a lot of times they just kind of make you think in a different way, and especially like when you switch like from different games, and like everything I learn in life is I learn from video games. So video games can give you a different perspective, and it's not just video games. Sometimes if you like to read, read a book. If whatever your thing is, if you like to play an instrument, whatever. Everybody's got their hobby. That can be a good way to, yeah, not just distract yourself, which it can be a great distraction, which we all need sometimes, but it can be a way to calm your mind, you know. Yeah, I feel like that's something that a lot of people do. It's hard to put yourself in other people's shoes. And adults are really bad about that with kids, especially. You know, Sometimes you can hear someone complain about something and just be like, ugh, God, just get over it already. But if you were actually them, if you were actually in their shoes, if and I mean, then that's just an old saying of, put yourself in their shoes, which if I feel like there needs to be a better way to say that. If you if you actually put yourself in their perspective, if you put yourself in their mind, you would feel the same way they would. And and no one should ever devalue the pain of someone else because you're not feeling what they feel. You know, you can't feel what they're feeling right now. Even if you've been in that position, if even if you felt that way before, people are really bad about feeling that perspective, other people's perspective. I feel like the world would be better off if we were all more sympathetic, and more empathetic. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very true. Because I'm sure your parents probably, because it's kind of like I said with my parents. Like, my dad has a hard time expressing anything deeper than a surface level because, first of all, my dad was one of 12 children. And I don't think he ever had that individual attention growing up. And his dad was kind of a workaholic. And so, he wasn't around much. And I mean, he was like, I don't want to make it seem like he was this absent father. He always came home at the end of the night, but to him, his his way of showing his love to his kids was providing for them. And my dad definitely took that on. And that is also something you have to keep in mind is the way certain people show love isn't not necessarily the way you would want to receive it. Like, I'm sure your parents care about you very, very deeply. They just, and they probably just, they don't show it in a way that you want to receive it, and they don't know how to show that, you know? They don't know how to show love in a different way. Yeah. No, there is no figuring out life. It's we're all just trying to we're all just trying to figure it out. And that's one of the things with my manager. Um, he has had a very rough life. He has had a very hard life, and with his wife passing, that's just just another cherry on top of his shit Sunday. And he is for sure a workaholic. Like he talks about this. He told me this. He's like, I'm a workaholic because I've had a hard life, and it makes me forget. I throw myself into work so I don't have to think about things. When did you realize the way your dad shows love? Probably college. And even then, like I still struggle with it. Like I still have a hard time talking to my dad sometimes, about anything deep, anything surface more than surface level. Um, I love him and he loves me and we both know that, but we just don't talk about it. And like my family's going on vacation next week or next month, and like we're all going except for my dad, and we are trying to convince him like we understand work is important, but like and like his business is going through changes right now. Fortunately, they're all good changes, but he feels like he needs to be there for that. But at the same time, it's like, Dad, we're all grown up, like we're all taking care of ourselves. Like, it's we would much rather just have you be around than focused on this business. But you know, but that is just how he shows his love is by providing for his family. Yeah, and that's a hard cycle to break. Like, eh, you could maybe have you tried just like talking to your parents about their growing up, their experiences with their family and their parents, or I mean, would they even? Here's the thing: a lot of times I find, and I'm not going to say this is an easy thing to do, but just like asking, you know, and that's something I'm bad about, especially with my dad. Like I should probably, I should be the one to initiate that conversation with my dad, you know. So there's that. Ask your parents. What was it like when you were a kid? What was it like with grandma and grandpa growing up? Just kind of start with that and see where the conversation goes. I mean, I don't know. Again, I have no, I cannot offer any medical advice or any official sort of advice, but it's worth a shot. I can't imagine your parents would get mad about wanting to talk about their past, about their family. Yeah, it is a roll of the dice. There's no guarantee it. I don't know. Yeah, and I know just Japanese culture in general when it comes to family is very different than what it is in a more Western cultures. Yeah, I think it's worth a shot. It's worth trying to talk about. Worth trying to bring it up. You know. Yeah, exactly. I was going through a rough patch with my mom. I wrote a letter. Get my thoughts written down. That's good advice. Journaling, just in general. Yeah, or literally writing out a letter, even if you never plan to send it. Yeah, and that is a great way. That is a great way to do that. That is a really good way to do that. Because a lot of times I feel like if you say things, you can kind of get some unintentional emotions in there as you're saying it. Even if you go in with the best of intentions, writing it down, yeah, it's slowed my thinking and let me absorb just exactly what I was going through too. Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. And yeah, like writing is a great way to do that. And there are other ways. Like some people write songs, or some people, which is also just a kind of a different way of writing. But some people paint, to get their frustration out. Some people work out to get their frustration out. It's so many poems from my angsty teenage years. Yeah, man, let me tell you, it's a good way to get it out. It is a good way, and especially when it comes to poems, you put a little music to it. Those poems are going to be worth a million when you're famous because of all your angsty teenage songs. See, exactly. There you go. It's a good way to do it. It's a good way to get it out. Yeah, I can't draw. I can't draw for shit. I can draw like stick people. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Like a lot of times the hardest part is, and I've said this already, like is just getting started, you know? Um, because a lot of times when you start, it a lot of the emotions that you've been suppressing or and not even if it's purposeful, but like a lot of it will come out at first. But once it's all out there and once you get it all out there, then you can start working towards healing. You can start working towards, once it's all laid out on the table, you can start to take the pieces and put them back together, you know? Yeah. And that's a healthy way to rebel, you know? Cuz there's a lot of rebellious ways to to let your there's a lot of ways to let your rebellion out that aren't healthy. So, yeah, writing and drawing, that's a great way to do it. Yep. That's one of the things my friend has struggled with. That's part of the reason last weekend was so bad. He was drinking and smoking a lot, and that's part of the reason we were so worried about him, because that's just a band-aid. That's putting a band-aid on a wound that's just gushing blood, you know. Even if you put the band-aid on, you're not going to stop the bleeding. It's just going to build up more. While it may stop the bleeding for the moment, it's in the long run it's just making it worse, you know. I don't want to say, sometimes depending on what the issue is, going out and having a drunk night with your friends can be great. But when it's deeper than that, when there's some real trauma behind there, that's not a good way to deal with the issues, you know. That's only going to make things worse. Yeah. And that's something a lot of especially parents struggle with are definitions of success. Success can mean different things to different people. You know, for I think for my for my dad it was and is success for him is being financially stable enough to take care of a family. And to have a successful business for him was success or is success. For me, money's just not that important. It's just not. For me, success is, and it changes from time to time, but I think long term for me, success would be to be able to help others, you know, to, I don't know, maybe this is something, especially lately, I've been kind of trying to figure out, like I said, I'm 30. I don't have it all figured out. I don't know what, I still don't know what my kind of goal in life is. And that's a struggle on its own, just trying to figure out, I'm not a religious person. I don't think there's some divine plan for me, but I personally want to come up with some kind of goal that I want to reach in life. And that's not having a goal, I think, is holding me back because I don't know what I want to do. I know I want to help people. Specifically how, I don't know. And that's something my manager even brought up the other day. He was like, and this is part of the reason I like him so much, but like, so there's on my team, there's three team leads. My position is called a team lead, and there's two others. Their official titles ramp agent, but it's basically the same thing. So there's three of us, and he's like, one of our team leads wants to be a manager. The other one, she wants to be a mom, like, and she wants her husband to get a manager position so she can quit and start her family. And he was like, but you, Jason, like, I don't know, like, what you want. Like, what do you want? What is your end goal in life? And I was like, I don't know. That's a good question. And I've been thinking about that a lot in the last 2 weeks, because it was about 2 weeks ago he brought this up. He's like, and he's the kind of guy, he says stuff like this all the time. He's like, if you need anything from me, if there's any way I can help you reach your goals, let me know. I'm like, all right, thanks, man. That's awesome. And and that's a lot of that. Honestly, is just luck. Like, I just happened to get this job. I wasn't looking for this job. I didn't wake up one day and be like, you know what? I want to work for FedEx. I want to ship packages. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. I just needed a job, and this is the job I got. And I'm extremely, because I've had other jobs that I didn't really have this connection with people. I didn't have a good manager. And even at FedEx, I mean, there's hundreds, maybe not hundreds, but there's dozens. There's dozens of managers just at FedEx night side, because I work nights. There's like the day shift and the night shift. Like, even just night shift FedEx, there's dozens of managers, and I just happened to be put with this one. I don't know how they decided. I think it was honestly just, this guy needs more people. We're gonna give it to him. Like, I just happened to get him, you know. So maybe, if hopefully, I hope all of you at one point or another, if you haven't already reached this, like, I hope you are lucky enough to have someone in your life like that, you know, because I couldn't have planned for this. I'm just very lucky to have gotten my manager, who's really pushed me to become a better person. And we don't agree on everything, that's for sure. We don't agree on everything, but generally, I think he is a good manager. He is a good person for me to know right now, and he is a good person to, and like, you know, I feel like we're gonna be friends forever. You know, I really hope to keep in touch with him, even if I don't work for FedEx forever. Yeah, yeah, and like, that's why I stream. Like, when I first started streaming, I was like, I want to make this a job, and then, I mean, it didn't really work out, and then I was just kind of like, it's fine, because like, then if I did make it my job, then it would be a job, you know. Now, I mean, I don't make very much money, like, at all streaming, but like, I just do it because I love doing it. And I try and do it every weekend, but like, no one's forcing me to do it. I just love doing it. It allows me to do stuff like this, you know, which I feel like, in my own teeny tiny little way, I like to think I'm helping the world a little bit, you know. My son is 26 and he loves me and he works hard. And he's going to Hawaii with some friends. And I know what I was like at that age, so I tell him to be smart about drinking. Yeah. And there's a safe way to drink, you know. You gotta learn your limit. Hopefully at 26 he knows his limit. And, obviously, don't drive any at all if you've been drinking. But like, yeah, just be smart about it. Hopefully he knows what's good for him. Yeah, it is. It's a very hard question to answer. Yeah, and that's something like a lot of people. I feel like that's what's one of the major differences between our generation and our parents' generation is a lot of them felt like they had to have it figured out by the time they graduated high school, and like they had to be married and have kids by 25, 30, whatever. Like, and then I have changed so much since the time I was 18. The things I want are incredibly different, and I feel like had I gotten married, and this is just hypothetical, had I gotten married at 18, I don't know if the person I was with at that point, whoever it might have been, I'm not saying the person I was with at that don't like I know our generation is having much lower divorce rates because we're not getting married as young, you know. I want to have a ranch and rescue animals, just straight up any age, shape, or size. Hopefully, giving a working opportunity for people who would otherwise struggle at finding a job, but I get a big dope or something like that. That's awesome. That's awesome. But like, you got to have goals. It's good to have big goals that you want and like are striving for, and it's good to have small goals along the way. You know, it's it's good to have a big final goal, and even like daily goals, like especially when you're having a hard time to have, today my goal is to get up and get the newspaper. I know nobody gets newspapers anymore, but like to read the newspaper. That's my goal for today. And then you can feel accomplished about something. And there's that thing like make your bed every day. Make that even if like make that a New Year's resolution. This year I'm going to make my bed every single day when I wake up. Little goals can help you tremendously on the way to a big goal. You got a Smash tournament? Yeah, that's awesome. I got a friend who was a pro Smash player. He was literally in the circuit. He was really good. I think it Melee was his. Was that the GameCube one? Super Smash Brothers Melee? Is that what you're talking about? Super Smash Brothers? Can't guarantee a first place, but I'll try. All right. Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Totally different person from when I was 18. You changed so much in your 20s. Yes. It was 2 weeks without getting mail because I just get everything in email. It was overflowing. Oh yeah. I could probably go a month without checking my mail and I'd be fine. Most of the stuff I get is just like credit cards wanting to get me to sign up for stuff. I'm just like I don't need I don't need more debt. I need less debt. And that's been like one of my big goals is to get completely out of debt. Like honestly, that's been something I've been working on since I graduated college, and I am so close. I am so close, and I am so excited. And that's why like my next goal is to buy a house. I just paid off my car last month. I've got like a little bit of credit card debt that I'm gonna have paid off in probably 2 or 3 months. But like that day, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta come up with some way to celebrate. When I paid off my student loans, I bought my 4K TV and my PlayStation 5. But like I was gonna buy those whether I was out of student debt or not. So, but still, yes, yes. Good night, Melon. Good night, Melon. If you haven't already gone, good luck in your Smash tournament. Yes, debt is. I wish I had. understood that in college. And like the thing is I did, but I didn't, you know. When I signed up for those student loans, I was like I know this is a lot of money, but when I graduate from college, I'm going to get a good job and be able to pay it off. Like that's the idea, right? But then you graduate and you're still just getting entry level jobs even with a college degree. So you're not getting out of college and making six figures a year. Decided not to drink alcohol this year. I've been drinking regularly since I turned 21, and I just want to stop turning the liquor store when I'm bored. Yeah, 40 days. Nice. That's an awesome goal. That's something for a very different reason I've considered doing, just like stopping drinking, because like I don't drink that much anymore, like at all. I honestly rarely drink, and I've thought about just like stopping altogether. I don't know. Just because like whenever I do, I don't enjoy it like I used to. And sometimes I feel like it'd be easier just to tell my friends like I just don't want to drink anymore. Cuz like I kind of don't. Like it's still fun every once in a while occasionally, but especially with my weird schedule. Everybody wants to drink at night and that's like when I'm up and like functional. And if I drink then my day's just gone. It's hard. Yeah, it can be very hard if like that's something you're used to. But yeah, stick with it, man. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. So did you start 40 days? Did you start? That was like what, around Christmas. That wasn't quite uh like the the first. So did you start just before the New Year's or Topo Chico? Half shot of something? What is that? Topo Chico. I don't even know what that is. I that is something I like now is not drinking because I don't drink that much. When I do, I want good stuff. So I do enjoy drinking better stuff now. You know, in college it was more about quantity over quality, but now it's definitely quality over quantity. You know, I'd rather have like one really good White Russian than like just 20 beers or whatever, which I don't think I've ever drank that much, but like I mean, look at me. I if I drank 20 beers I'd just die, but I'm a skinny fella. I would not last, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah. Started before New Year's. Sparkling mineral water. Okay. Yeah, I get that. I get that. That's kind of what I was saying. Like, if you go out and have a fun night with friends drinking, it can't like alcohol can be a social lubricant, but it can also destroy your social life and your health. Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. It is a hard thing to do. I mean, even doing this stream tonight, like I was I was looking forward to it, but I was not looking forward to it, you know, because it's hard to talk about things. It's hard to talk about these things. AJ, you know, you're always welcome to talk to me. I'm again, I'm just putting that out there. If you ever want to talk, and I mean, you can text me. I know you've got my number, and we're friends on Facebook. You can message me through Facebook. So like, whenever you want to talk, man, I will listen. I will listen. That's good. That's good thinking. A pact not to drink by yourselves. in a good state of mind or not. Always have a buddy. That's good. I like that. That's smart. Yep. Humans are incredibly social creatures. We are very, very social creatures. Hydrate. All right. Everybody drink water. That is. Everybody have a drink of water. Hydrate. Thank you. Thank you, Young at Heart. I appreciate that. This too shall pass. I know a it's a with the pandemic, it's hard. But then you've still got everything else in life going on, you know? The pandemic just what's the word I'm looking for? It makes it worse. It makes things exponentially worse, you know. It just piles on top of everything that life already has going on, you know. But, you know, it's not like everything will ever be perfect, but this will get better. Things will get better. Thing life will find a way. We will continue. We will continue, period. We will continue, you know. It sucks a lot. Yep. Yep. I'm going to hydrate again. Yep. It'd be nice if like the pandemic came and everybody was just like, you know what? Until this pandemic's over, let's all just be chill and let's just hang out until the doctors can figure out a vaccine and let's have no more issues. But you know, that's not how it works. All right, all right. Um, I feel like we're kind of just wrapping up here. So let's just final thoughts. Um, you know, talk to people. If you are really feeling down, if you feel like things are becoming too overwhelming, um, 116 123 here in the U.S. Um, I mean, and the thing is, I just Googled that. Like, I didn't know that. Like, I just Googled that. If you're having trouble, you can literally whatever country you're in, wherever part of the world you're in, most likely has something like this. Um, so just Google suicide prevention hotline and give them a call. I know this one. I'm sure most of them. This one's 24/7, 365. You can call anytime, anywhere, and they'll help you out. But if you ever just want to chat, just want to let some stuff off your chest, you can always talk to me. Like I said, I will listen. I'm no expert on anything, but I will listen. I promise you that. I will respond. Like I said, I've got a weird schedule. I can't promise I'll respond right away, but as soon as I can, I will always respond. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, Young at Heart. It was nice chatting with you. I like having different perspectives, you know. And like your name suggests, we're all young at heart. All right. Gute Nacht.